Click some switches and we are officially down to business. So let's talk about this game that has been making the rounds called Meta Revolution, right? So if you're not familiar with Meta Revolution, it's a Chinese independently developed game made by Next Games, if I'm not mistaken. They were recently acquired by a Tencent game, so now they're a Tencent game studio. But the project started independently out of mainland China, if I'm not mistaken. And it's designed to be an accessible fighting game, right? One of those games with the pitch that you can play it with basically no prep time. You'll understand it immediately, but you still have some high-level concepts there for fighting game players to really show their skill with, right? And it's been around for a while. I remember first seeing this game about a year and a half ago when they first showed it off, and it was on Steam Early Access page. And I sent out closed beta signups for this about a year ago. Well, I signed up for it, and I received it via email. That's when they were giving it out via email. And I received it about 6 months after that, so it's been about a year since I've actually touched this game, aside from about a few days ago. And the reason that it's making the rounds right now is because it's available in open beta, essentially, and you're able to log into the Metal Revolution Discord server, and they have a bot that's giving away free keys for Steam, right? This game is not only on Steam, it's going to be available for mobile devices, and that's kind of the target that they have, at least for the Chinese publication of this game. But if you're, if you want a free game, feel free to log in to the Discord, Metal Revolution Discord, go look them up, and they always have a beta bot there that gives out keys, pretty much like once every day or something like that, so it's super easy to get a key. Anyway, I feel like it's important to talk about this game because I think that, I saw this game about a year ago and I pretty much had my decisions made on it. Like, my opinion was pretty solidified. But since people are talking about it again, it's important to really talk about how they might be able to do it better, or what I think about the game, what I think the game does well, what I think it doesn't do well. And let's just go over basic system mechanics. So, local play, training mode, and we're going to go into practice mode. Everything I'm going to do is in the context of Jamal Ritter. Jamal Ritter is the first character you play in the game, the character you play in the tutorial. He's the most, he's the unlocked character, and this game is a mobile game. It's designed for mobile. So if I'm playing a mobile game, I'm probably going to play it for about 5 minutes and uninstall it, right? That's how a lot of mobile games are. So they need to have a simple and effective character as the very first character that you play with, right? That makes sense. You want something that makes sense, isn't too complicated, something that people can just tap, 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 right, and it works. Let's pick him, right? And this game has a couple of stages. I remember it only had these two, and now it's got this, and it's got this, and it's got this. It's got a couple of stages there. So let's check out this cool military factory one. And just let it rock here. So we'll go over basic system mechanics, the way the game works. We'll play some online matches. Talk about some of the things I think it could do better. Okay. Let's button check. Alright, everything looks good. Alright, so let's talk about this game. Let's talk about Metal Revolution. So, Metal Revolution is a 1v1 fighting game that is buried around the health bar and the meter bar, and it's just the meter bar, and it does a lot of things. Everything is tied to this meter that you're seeing at the top of my screen. It's got 5 portions. It's very important because at 3 you can use your ultimate, and then at 2 you can use your small EX here. And there's 4 buttons. There's one is, well, square, right, is your A, right, which does your light button, and it auto combos. So I just mash that, and at the end of it, I get my EX if I have enough meter. Right, so I do a lot of damage off that. Then you have your triangle or your B button, which does, well, B in anime notation, right? It does your special move, and depending on what direction you get, you'll get a different move, right? So if I just hit neutral triangle, I get my fireball. Hit down triangle, I get this sort of forward sway, and you get this command dash, the launch, right? Up is a parry, and if you have an opponent attack it, then you do like a back sway, which most things will whiff, and then you can press it again and you'll get an attack. Now, the game is very straightforward in terms of its universal mechanics. This game is pretty much all about its universal mechanics. So, like I said, the meter is dependent on both blocking and dashing. So if I hit the C button or circle, I dash, right? And you see there, I'm using 1 bar every time. Now, depending on how I do this, I can get different variations of dash, like this, which will cross my opponent up. This, out of meter again, right? So this is a faster recovery. It'll go through projectiles. This is a standard dash, and you can use your dashes in the middle of your attacks, your block strings, right? It's important to note that you can't use your movement buttons for jumping or dashing. You cannot double tap forward or back. You cannot tap up to jump, which I think is a huge mistake for this type of game. There is a jump button, and it's your X button or your D button. And you'll see here that I can just do basic jumps. There's no dashing, no nothing like that, right? So, this game, and you'll notice that the character has not... Yeah, there you go. Is very straightforward in game plan, right? You have air buttons as well. Depending on what you press, you actually don't have air C, like air dash isn't like a thing. You can't dash in the air or anything like that. You can only connect with an attack. There's no forward or back buttons here, like pressing back for your light attack doesn't do anything, back A doesn't do anything, forward A doesn't do anything. The only thing that does happen on A is that if you press up A, you get a reversal attack, an anti-air button. And every character has this, it's an anti-air attack. And then if you press down, you get this parry, and you'll see that I'm using a bar, right? This is like a blitz shield in Guilty Gear. And the way it works is that, say that I am pressing buttons, and I had... Let's see here. Say that I'm pressing buttons, and if this character were blocking, which I can set up here if I'm not mistaken. Set the AI to block. It doesn't look like we can. I'm going to explain it. I'm going to show it to you guys in an arcade match. But in this game, blocking loses you meter. And if you have no meter, you will run out of the ability to block. You won't be able to block at all. You will lose your guard. Your block will break, and you'll take whatever damage they have thrown at you. Right? You can lose it in the middle of a block string. You can lose it at the start of your block string. You can spend all your meter and just not be able to block. Right? And the only way that you can get it back is to parry. Right? Well, you could wait, but it has a long cooldown, or you could parry, and it'll give you some back, and it'll give you advantage, right? It'll turn it back in your favor. So you can parry in the middle of a block string, or you can parry pretty much raw, right? And if they hit it, then you will counterattack, right? You'll be able to counterattack, and you will gain meter back, so that's important. Now, in terms of universal mechanics, there's also 2 things. There's the ability, which right shoulder button gives you an EX, okay? If I have less than 30% health and I have 4 bars or something like that, you'll be able to do down plus the shoulder button, and you'll get that. You'll get like a super attack. But this only works in the context of having less life in an actual game plan. So I'll show you guys that in a real match in a minute. Now, if you hit up with shoulder button, you will do a burst, and you'll see that it uses 4 bars of meter, so it's extremely risky. And your throw is actually B or triangle, right? B notation plus back. So B notation plus back, and there's only forward throw. You cannot change the direction. So it's a very strange input. I really don't like it, in my opinion, and I'm just going to talk about a couple things that I think the game has issues with. So first of all, movement in this game is really strange. Look at my walk speed. Look how slow I walk across the screen. Right? I'm walking the screen. It takes me, you know, fairly long time for me to get anywhere. And notice that jumping, just look at how far I'm going to jump. I'm going to get away from him a little bit. It's like about here, where if I press it, I barely reached him. So jumping is extremely, basically useless, unless you're ready to go on the offensive. So I can jump, I can connect this, I can dash, and then I can connect my string. Yeah, you don't have much room to walk, right? But this game doesn't really penalize you for walking backwards. At the same time, you don't really get to move the screen very much. The jump is extremely jarring. So what I was thinking about, the first thing I thought about when I saw this game was I was like, you know, man, the act of moving in a fighting game, or in any video game, is not a simple, you're not moving and then you're moving. First, you have to start moving, you move, then you stop move, right? And even if the actual fixed movement speed of your character doesn't change, even if you're always moving at a constant speed, the animation will hide the fact that you're moving at a constant pace, right? So this character, he just starts walking, as you see. There's really no transition. He just goes in, right? He's not prepping up or anything, right? And this jump, you're just immediately off the ground. There's no jump frame, there's no animation. And I feel like keyframing would probably help. There's probably got to be some more smoothness. But this game has always been like that, right? I feel like I'm criticizing a product that is very close to being shipped. So I can say that, you know, after like about 2 years of a development time, this is something that they should probably be looking at. So yeah, I think movement in this game is very, very difficult. This is like Fantasy Strike in the respect that you can't block crouching. There's no high-low mix-up. You just block. You hold back to block. So we'll talk about that. And the apex of the gravity looks like it just, yeah, absolutely, right? Like there's no jump arc. It's extremely slow, and I think even if this were to vary per character, the fact that the one character that you're playing from the very start of the game is extremely slow and bulky just doesn't sell very well, right? Because we're talking about a game that people might play for about 10 minutes and just uninstall, right? So it has to make a good first impression. I don't think this jump makes a very good first impression. That's just me. So there's a lot of things I actually can't show you because the training mode just doesn't let me set the AI to block or to reverse a wake up or anything like that. So I'm gonna versus AI. I'm gonna show you some things. So again, roster is based on a free rotation, so I can pick any of these characters for free, or I can unlock some of the characters that are locked. I don't know what the format that they have is right now, but I just have some, and then I just have others locked. There's skins for the characters. Like this one, I actually have a character card for that, so let me unlock that. So if you haven't noticed, this game is developed extremely mobile oriented, which means that there's a lot of, you know, mobile UI in the game. There's touchscreen controls in the UI if you want to enable them, and you can redeem like weapons, like character skins and stuff like crazy. So I actually have some that I'm waiting. So let me use I have 1 day of the Patriot skin for Jamal Ritter. So let's play him. Also, welcome D, welcome Pain, welcome Squid. Thank you guys for watching. Let's see here. Yeah, I got 1 day to use this, guys. So check this out. I got the Patriot Warrior. This is extremely good, by the way. I really like that skin. Look at that. That's American right there. Anyway, let's pick a character. Let's pick a stage. Let's go to this one. I like this stage. And I'm gonna show you guys a couple of things against the AI. It's mobile as fuck. Yeah, it's great. All right. Oh, this is set against P1. Is it? Is this even set against AI? Oh, it probably isn't. Let me set the AI. Oh, is this just straight up not against AI? Alright. Unbelievable. Yeah, this game's a little weird like that. Let's just go into arcade mode. I need like a functioning AI or something. Alright, Jamal Ritter. I'm actually controlling the game's UI with a mouse because it's god-awful on controller. So I just click on things. Alright. Check it out. Right? See how I'm losing meter when I block? If he just attacks me until my meter runs out, I'm gonna block break. Well, do it again. See, block break. And I just can't block that anymore. So I have to wait until my meter recharges. Now, if I'm blocking and I know he's gonna continue the block string, I can parry this. Okay, let me actually do that. So I'm running out of block here. Yeah, it's got a guard gauge, but it's not very friendly. So you'll see how when I try to parry, I will run out of meter until I block break. Alright, let's beat him up. Yeah, it's very similar to... This game has a few things of like KOF. This has quick recover like KOF, but I haven't had a chance to show it to you. So let me, if I block this, see if I can actually block see if I can block a string, right? Alright, let me just hit him with block break. All he does is the basic stream. Yeah, it has quick rise. And it's not, yeah, it's definitely not easy to actually do that. Actually, landing the parry is very strict, and I think it's very strange. Some things are very strict in this game, especially juggling. Let me, I can show desperations as well. So there's a quick rise. Right, and let me, yeah, there you go, quick rising. Alright, so let me try to block this. Okay, there you go. So as you see, when I successfully do it, right, I will break his block instead, and I will be able to hit him for free. So that's basically the basic game plan. Now, throwing in this game is actually quite tough, so I might whip it, just trying to get on him. There you go, hit him with that. It's like a push block, kind of, yeah, right? But when you parry successfully, you can only ever hit it or not hit it. If you miss it, you just get punished. Like, you will be at an immense disadvantage, right? If you do hit it, then you will get a free parry, and you will be able to immediately just start attacking. Like, you just mash light, and you're guaranteed to get your combo. So that's the basic game plan, right? Like, if somebody is making you block for too long, then you're going to time the parry so that the next hit, you know, you actually get the parry off. So let's check it out. So again, with system mechanics, this is always up plus A is always your going to be your basic anti-air move. So I can just hit him with that. There you go. He did a parry right there. So check this out. You have dashing on your meter. You can use one bar of meter to dash. And you can actually cross someone up, so you can do something like that. You can continue certain combos just by using your dash. So if I want to actually land a jump in on this, I have to do this, and then I have to press that. I press it twice, but you'll see what I mean. Alright. Hit him with that. Yeah. So there's basically no normals that you can vary with. There's no alternative starters. You're basically always going to hit your light button going into your strings. This is a skill button, but oh, this thing that I just got absolutely ate. See if it does it again. Yeah, dashing takes resourcing. It's one of the least favorite things I've ever seen in a fighting game. Yeah, so you can, yeah, so dash canceling is pretty relevant to some of the characters. You will want to mash A, dash, and then continue, but the strings are very short. Okay, so we're in a good situation. Check this out. See how my 5 bars are flashing? I'm low on health. My meter is yellow, so I can do basically something like Mortal Kombat. So I hit down plus, well, presuming I have 5 bars. I have to have the 5 bars, and he's making me block, so let me hit him a couple times. Once I get the 5 meters again, I hit down plus shoulder button, and I get this. And you get that. I totally whiff throw there. So there's a lot of very strange... Yes, it's unblockable. The, like, I guess you want to say desperation move is what I was going to say. That's kind of like KOF. It's like a desperation super special. It's unblockable. So it's pretty fucked up. Play another one just so you guys can see some other characters. So it's pretty KOF-like in that regard. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Alright, so let me show you guys another character. Yeah, people have opinions about Fatal Blows. Alright. Watch this. Alright, so let me see if I can actually land that, right? And then if it connects, I have to dash to actually continue that combo. I'm gonna break his block with this string. Or he can just eat it for free. It's fine. As you can see, I'm basically just doing the same thing over and over again. I broke his block, right? So I can just go into that, break his meter again. I'm okay with supers and ultras as long as they take resources and aren't just free. Yeah, I mean, meter management in this game is extremely punishing because, like, as you just saw, if I'm put in the corner, all I can really do is parry. The only option I really have is to guess right on parry. Because in this situation, he can't throw me, he can't, you know, push block me. There's no there's invincible reversals on some characters, but your character isn't guaranteed to have that. So, like, in this case, the only thing you can really do is parry correctly. You know, the AI is not doing that, obviously. There you go. So as you saw, I did the blue dash, which costs more meter, but it's also, like, invincible. Yeah, having full meter is extremely difficult. It does a lot of damage, though. You don't get mobility enough to make a block meter not so punishing. Yeah, it's very tough. There's not enough movement in this game. This is the same character we fought a minute ago, so let me just back out of this. Let me just back out, and we'll go to something else. So the game plan of this game is very straightforward. You can learn a lot of the character's game plans by just going over to the expert mode, and there's combo trials. And you see how my controller's just fucking everything up? I gotta click on it. What is this Kakuto Chojin bot? Yeah, so he's got like a yin and yang skin. I'll show you right now. I can't show it to you from here. But you can go into combo challenges for pretty much every character. And they're all very basic. So I can go into any one of these, and the first one's probably just gonna be to mash A. So I did this one in like 5 minutes. And we'll go into online so you guys can see the online, because I'm sure there's a lot of people playing this because it's also available in China. The netcode's good. Give him that. So as you can see, mash the button. And then this you can throw. So my super is a throw. I don't know. My my R1 super move is a throw. So as you can see there, up square, always anti-air button. And you can juggle from there. Juggling in this game is really fucking hard for no reason. So as you can see, I can just miss right there. Like, juggling in this game, the camera moves really crazily. It's pretty... For a game like this, it's really tough. There you go. So, juggling in this game, the camera constantly follows you. Exactly. I was thinking about why it's so difficult, and the fact is that most of the time when you get a ground splat on a character like this guy, like Trishula, you're going up in the air and the camera's going with you. So you're not actually able to time it based on the visual feedback of the actual jump, right? And like Battle for the Grid is another good example, right? Like even for all the aerial juggling that we do, the camera is constantly fixed, so I can tell when I'm getting the ground splat, which this game doesn't let me do, basically. Like, you will go up with the game. And then this is like a one-frame link. Like, I don't know why this is so hard. You have to, like, mash it super hard. Yeah, they fixed the camera later on, right? But that was the thing. This game has, like, a camera that will go above the actual ground splat. So you can't tell when the juggle is consistent. And I can't show it to you guys anymore because Sophix, I did her combo challenges, and they're really fucked up. Like, you have to juggle and go in the air and do air actions to actually continue the combo, and this is where that comes into play, because, like, I'm up here, and the camera's, like, way down. Like, I'm all the way up here, and the enemy's down here, but my camera's still up with me, so I really can't tell you what I'm looking at, so... I think they could definitely work on animation, camera, and, animation, camera, and speed of the game, right? Like, overall options. We'll play an online match. The gun launch jungles, yeah, they took me like 30 minutes, bro. Like, it was horrible. Gun launch jungles took me forever. Shit's really rough. But I mean, the thing is that, like, I played this game almost a year ago, and it's basically the same product, right? They haven't really changed anything. I think that most likely the fact that this game was reacquired by Tencent Game Studios, there was probably a major restructure of the studio, and it probably took them a while to really get back on their feet. I can't explain it to you, right? But, you know, I'm not them, but let's just play a ranked match. So you'll see that I have a very large latency, but this is what it did last time. US server is actually just US server, not US East, anything like that, so don't really know what's up there. I played this game like late last night and the night before or something like that, and I was able to get ranked matches pretty quickly. I don't know if I'm going to find any right now. But they were all Chinese names. Yeah, Hearthstone logo. This game was only ever called Metal Revolution. It was only ever called that. Alright, so check it out. We got Mysterious Man. It doesn't tell you who you're fighting until you get into the game. Alright. We're beatboxing out here. Alright, so let's fight this man. Alright, so see how he parries me? Like, he immediately is at advantage. If I, you know, pressing it too long, he will know that he can basically do it for free, because I'm going to go in for my full block string. I'm going to try to get a throw here. Yeah, nice. Oh, I didn't have enough meter. See that? So I didn't have enough meter doing the dash. So you can get messed up by that pretty easily. And throw is back plus your medium attack, and it sucks. It's the worst motion ever. It's not even like forward plus like your strongest attack, anything like that. It's back, and it's a forward throw. I'm gonna try to parry this guy. Does it have a whiff? No. It's like Guilty Gear, where if I'm pressing the motion, I just get Fireball. Yeah, like if you go in for it, you just get Fireball. Alright, so you see how he had the taunt there? Like, that'll whiff most animations. So he has like a taunt move where if like it hits, then he goes back and he can press it again and he'll get a special attack. Alright, so I'm gonna do my Desperation. You might be referring to Rising Thunder, which is a game that we could talk about this game a lot in comparison to. Yeah, it was definitely Rising Thunder. Net status bad. It felt like offline though. It was really good. I don't know. Metal Revolution is an interesting concept. It maintains a lot of influences from fighting games with much more complicated concepts. Like I see a lot of King of Fighters DNA in there somewhere. A lot of in the way it juggles and the way it moves and some of the way dashing works, desperation moves. But ultimately, I think the overall feedback I would give to the developers in playing this game is that they need to let the game flow. Like, the fact that the characters are robots should not really dictate the pace of the game, right? I understand they're robotic characters, they move very rigidly, but the fact that the game moves rigidly is not an excuse. The characters move very strangely. The jumping is very strange and not worthwhile, and usually, you know, like I can barely jump over this little guy. Check that out. I can barely jump over him. It just doesn't make sense. Special moves are on the right idea, and block strings are on the right idea, but I think the game needs command normals, such as being able to press black and get a special move, get a special normal, forward special normal. I just think the game needs a little more variation in the buttons that you can press. I think I think jumping needs to be on up instead of a jump button, because I don't think this game is really conducive to that sort of thing. Dashing, the fact that dashing takes up meter, every dash is one of your 5 meter bars, and it's very slow, and I ran out, right? Like, I just ran out extremely quickly. The fact that everything is tied to your meter, even being able to block, is tied to your movement options, and the fact that the game is so slow, it means that you basically have to play basically still so that you have all of your options on the table in terms of offense or defense, right? Like, because if you're just sitting there dashing, like if you dash to get in a game plan, well, you can't block, right? And if you decide to block, then you can't dash, and you can't get yourself out of situations that you might be able to get out of, right? And I think it limits the overall thing. This game is very dependent on its universal mechanics, and chat makes a good point. The design for the other characters is basically extremely dependent on the universal mechanics that are in play. Like, every character is going to have up plus X, up plus square, or up plus A. You know, it's going to be an anti-air button, no matter what. You can't really vary on that design. There's no choice. Down plus light is going to be a parry. That's no choice. Every character has to work exactly the same. And it just doesn't work that way, right? Like, it feels like all of the characters are playing with, like, a mind, like the box from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Like, check out how far that fireball goes. Why is this the longest button I have? Like, advancing normals are nice and all, but why are my buttons so small, right? So I think the game seems to sell itself for its, like, footsies, but everybody has very stubby buttons and stubby movement. So I think the flow of the game really needs to get a lot better. And, you know, games, if you want to check this out and make your own opinions and play it for free, check out Metal Revolution's Discord. You can go to their beta key channel. They have like giveaways like every day of beta keys for this game, so you can play it on Steam for free. Yeah, you can try it out for yourself. Give them some feedback. But anyway, that's my feedback.